AUKUS is in trouble. The US today announcing it's reviewing the defence deal to make sure it aligns with Donald Trump's agenda. So are we about to kiss goodbye those nuclear subs before we've even met them?
If you've ever worried about a deal falling through after you've made your first down payment, try imagining that down payment was $800 million.
Australia's plans for a nuclear submarine fleet have been thrown into jeopardy.
With the Pentagon undertaking a review of the AUKUS defence agreement.
It's a move that's put the future of our biggest defence partnership at stake.
Yes, the AUKUS deal could be underwater instead of where we want it, underwater. The Pentagon revealing it's currently reviewing the trilateral deal, with one defence official saying,
"This review will ensure the initiative meets these common-sense, America-first criteria."
But a project investigation can exclusively reveal we all live in Australia, so America first, not necessarily in our best interests.
This US review came out of the blue. And there are very serious questions that the government and the Defence Minister needs to answer.
We've known about the review for some time. We welcome it and we will engage with it.
I think Australia's been played as chumps.
I just think it's important to keep this in perspective.
This is the latest hurdle for the rocky AUKUS affair that began back in 2021, when Australia suddenly announced it was entering a nuclear-powered threesome with the US and UK, a deal that would see us acquire up to 8 submarines.
Today, we join our nations in a next-generation partnership, built on a strong foundation of proven trust.
That hookup necessitated a breakup with France, with whom we shared a supposedly exclusive submarine-based relationship. Luckily, they were cool with it.
Do you think he lied to you? I don't think. I know.
But a lot has changed since the AUKUS deal was made, including the leaders themselves. The Trump administration is not super happy with Australia's level of defence spending, nor with our government joining with 4 other nations to sanction 2 Israeli ministers.
These 2 ministers have been the most extremist and hardline of an extremist settler enterprise, which is both unlawful and violent.
So with the outer edges of AUKUS possibly on the outs, will all this really be enough to sink AUKUS before it's launched?
Well, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull is here to help us figure this all out. Malcolm, are we getting these subs or not?
I think it's very unlikely. The terms of the deal that Australia has entered into with the United States says that the Americans don't have to give us any of those subs or sell us any of those subs if they feel their Navy needs them more. And right at the moment, their Navy is short of submarines and they're not producing nearly enough to replace the older ones that are retiring. So, I've said this for a while. I mean, this is a very unequal deal. You know, the Americans get a lot of money from us, $3 billion US. They get a base and a shipyard from us in Western Australia, but they only have to transfer or sell subs to us if they can spare them. And right now, there's no way they can.
That's always been true. A lot is being made of the Trump administration now doing this review, but actually they were always going to have to review this in order to decide whether they would give us the sub. So has anything actually changed today?
They don't have to make the decision about transferring the submarines until really 270 days before the transfer. So that's probably 2031 or 2032. Look, let's be frank. I mean, what's Trump's slogan? America first. You know, the needs of the US Navy are always, under any president, are going to come ahead of ours. And in any event, this will be a decision for the next president after Trump, unless he gets a 3rd term by some manner or means. So, look, my problem with this, Waleed, is that our government and our opposition have for years now been living in a state of delusion and refusing to countenance the risk that we end up with no submarines. And so they're not putting in place any plan B. And yet the risk of not getting submarines is part of the deal. So America can decide in 2031 that they can't spare these subs, and we can't say there's been a default or a breach or reneging. It's the dumb deal we signed up to.
Malcolm Turnbull, Susie Youssef here, political reporter. Let's say they do scrap the deal. Do you think that they'll give back the $800 million? Like, what's their return policy like?
What do you reckon? I don't think any chance. I think that would be... Yes, no, I don't think so. No, look, I think I'd be surprised if they scrapped the deal. I think what actually the most honest thing the Americans could do is say to the Australian side, look, you know as well as we do that we are at least 20 submarines short of what we need. You know as well as we do that we're producing about half as many as we need to produce. So the odds are, overwhelmingly, that we won't be able to spare the subs in 2032. So you Aussies better get on with a plan B. No one has been able to pin down Richard Marles about this any more than they could pin down Scott Morrison. They literally talk over the top and they say, oh, do we want to stay in AUKUS? No, we've got to stay in AUKUS. I'm not saying we should pull out of AUKUS. I'm not saying anything of that kind. I'm simply making the point that we have a submarine deal that is so dumb, we are more than likely going to end up with no submarines. And we've got to recognise that and plan for what we do instead.
Is it too late to go crawling back to the French?
Well, look, it's probably, you could go crawling back. I'd never suggest crawling anywhere, but you could go back to France. But the question as to whether it would be too late for them to help us out, the answer is I don't know. There is a strong school of thought in naval circles here that we should go back to France and buy their nuclear-powered submarines, because they're building 6 for their own navy, which are frankly a more suitable size for us. And I think the 6th will be complete in about 2032. And so the argument would be to say, well, why don't you build another 6 for us instead?
Malcolm Turnbull, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And listen, congratulations to you guys on the project. It's been a great program. I'm sorry it's coming to an end, and I guess this is my last appearance, but I've always enjoyed joining you on the project.
Thank you, Malcolm. We've always enjoyed having you on and sparring from time to time and just hearing what your perspective on things, on all manner of things over the years. So it's appreciated.
Thank you.